Go. It's a big Thursday. I am ready to rock.
All right, good. Couple hours on the couch. And I have to tell you, man, like I know this isn't some sort of revelation these days, but just like watching what happened out in Indiana with Rutgers, watching some of these buzzer beaters that you guys have had, betting college basketball on Sunday. College basketball is so much better of a product than the NBA right now. It's not even close.
It's funny you say that because I was having a conversation with a couple of the guys. Chris Corso, who's the SID over there, went to a Knicks game a couple of weeks ago, and he came out of it and he said, my God, he goes, it is so slow, methodical, and boring. And I've said for a while, until you get to the playoffs, the NBA, man, maybe the Phoenix Suns are a little different because of the way they go up and down the floor, and the Warriors shoot threes from all over the place better than anybody. But the NBA is a bad product in the regular season. And I agree with you. This college stuff, and yes, I'm up close and personal with it with Rutgers, and last night the win was tremendous. But it is nonstop. Regular season games, the kids are really fighting for their lives, and it is so much better than what the NBA is these days.
Yeah, and you juxtapose it to the Knicks and the Sixers last night, and maybe Sixers fans and Spike Eskin and everybody who follows his podcast are all fired up because James Harden in his home debut, and they win and everything else. But for a Knicks fan last night, it was terrible. It's terrible watching that game. It's another terrible third quarter. James Harden is just an impossible basketball player to watch when you're not rooting for him, and even when you are rooting for him, he's a tough guy to watch. It's just not enjoyable. Now, if you were to tell me this was last year, how much fun we were having watching the Knicks because they were playing well, yeah, I got back into the NBA and enjoyed it, wasn't complaining about it as much. But if your team is bad and sort of out of it, like the Knicks have, what are they, like 3-16 or something stupid in their last terrible. 19, and this is just complete waste of a season again. I mean, it's like I can't get into it anymore. And I'm watching these random college. Now, Rutgers isn't random, but I'm watching more random college basketball games and getting into that this time of year than this. I mean, there's no hope. There's no hope here last night for the Knicks, and there's no hope in the future either. I don't even care. Like I saw Bobby Marks tweet about how Leon Rose cleared cap space and first round picks and this and that.
For who?
For what exactly? What is the end game?
I think the end game right now is Donovan Mitchell some way, shape, or form, and I don't know when. But that's the goal, I think, at this point, because otherwise I don't know what this team is doing unless R.J. Barrett is going to take that next step, and he very well could. He's a young player. He's gotten better and better and better. Maybe he will be the next superstar. I don't think he's Ja Morant, but maybe he's the next Knicks superstar. Right now, I don't see the path. And I thought last year I did, especially with the way they played. This year they came out, they had the win over Boston, and things have kind of gone sideways since. I found it comical, too. So I'm at Indiana last night. Yeah. No, I'm doing the show this morning. So I'm trying to follow along with what's going on with the Knicks game, and I get on the plane, and the game was just over with the TV, so I was kind of hoping maybe I could find it somewhere. Not the case. And I see how they had this big lead, and they were playing well, and the first half went good, and all of a sudden, the game just got turned upside down on their face.
Yeah.
And then I'm reading quotes from Julius Randle, who, if you go back to the game over the weekend, they're isolating shots where Julius Randle not only is not playing defense, has no interest in even moving.
Yeah, and then he's criticizing everybody else's defense.
How does that work?
It doesn't work. It doesn't fly in my book. It shouldn't fly in his teammates' book. I mean, he's not a leader. He's not equipped to be a leader, and he probably shouldn't be on the team next year, and hopefully he is not. Now, I'll read you the exact Bobby Marks tweet. So Tim Bontemps puts out this article. He used to work for the Daily News. He's now writing for ESPN.com, and how the Knicks are another disappointing season. So Bobby Marks quote tweets that. He goes, "Does it feel like a step back this season? Of course. But New York is in a better position in comparison to when Leon Rose took over. 8 future number ones in the next 7 years, tradable contracts, 12 players earning between $1.5 to $18 million in flexibility in 2023.
Okay, so show me how and where.
Are they going? Where is the player? Honestly, that's what I need to know. I mean, if that tweet then took it to the next step, like, have a great package for a guy like this who's going to be on the market, or cleared space for this guy who's going to be a free agent and always talked about in New York. I mean, there's really, and I hate to say this, it sounds so negative. That's why I wanted to have a half positive take about how much fun college basketball has been. But there really feels like you went from a 4 seed with future to a season and a future of no hope with them. No, like right now, and I'm going to say this, and I can't believe I'm saying this, But right now, New York basketball, because Kevin Durant is coming back tonight, is only about the Nets. That's it. It's only about the Nets. What's going to happen? Because this Kevin Durant-less Nets team is another one he could barely watch.
Oh, terrible.
But him coming back, then Ben Simmons at some point coming back, and having this team go for it with Kyrie when he could play, now is going to be the focal point. That's it. That's the only thing interesting in pro New York basketball right now, and it's not even close.
No, and you're right. And the East is fun. I mean, when you look at the East with Philadelphia for one, Milwaukee another, Miami's better, Cleveland's young and up and coming, and then you've got the Nets who have kind of just gone through this season. And you talk about bad basketball, they've been one of, if not the worst teams to watch over the last month or so. Maybe it's even a little longer than that since Durant got hurt. He comes back and the narrative completely changes because while they're not good, when Kyrie has played on the road with them, they have been much better. They've won some games, even games you didn't think they'd win. They've been competitive. That game in Miami, if I go back 3 weeks ago, I guess it was probably 3 weeks ago, was one of the most incredible fourth quarter. I lost the game, but one of the most incredible fourth quarters I had seen in a long time where Kyrie almost carried them to a win by himself. You put Durant back in this mix. Ben Simmons will play probably somewhere late this month, and I do look forward to them making some sort of a postseason run. Are they going to make the finals? No idea. They're going to make the Eastern Conference Finals? Who knows? Although I want my money from Boomer if they do make the finals. But they will be fun to watch, whether you're a Net fan or not. If you like the NBA, you're going to have them in early round matchups where it's not going to be the 1-8 snooze fest where they're the one taking on a team that can't compete. They're going to be playing against Philly or Milwaukee or Miami right out the gate, and you will have a first-round matchup that I think just as a basketball fan, even if you're rooting against them, that you'll want to watch.
Yeah, so they were, the Brooklyn Nets, the favorite to win the finals for a long time, like from the beginning of the season up until a week and a half ago. They are no longer. The two Western Conference teams, the Phoenix Suns and the Golden State Warriors, have now leapfrogged them.
Which makes sense.
And I thought that they hung on there for a little bit too long as the favorite.
Yeah.
So the Suns now are plus 430, the Warriors are plus 440, and the Nets are plus 600, but the Nets are still the favorites in the East. You know, the Bucks plus 650 and the Sixers plus 700 and the Heat plus 1,000. They're all sort of in that group right there. And you're right, that should be fun. Those matchups that you didn't think you'd get early in the postseason because of those wacky Nets season that's going on and them getting healthy and right and post-Harden trade towards the end of the year will be exciting. But we just have to get there because it's just this NBA regular season around here.
Dreadful.
It's been dreadful, and I don't like. I know we get criticized for being negative. It's not us. It's what we have to talk about. I'm fully convinced. I had like this moment with myself one of the other days, and I said, "Am I being too negative about sports, or is just the sports are just negative? There's no baseball. You've got this lockout situation that's going to get worse and worse and worse. You've got the Nets they'll get right, but I mean, God, there was a stretch there they couldn't get out of their own way.
Yeah.
The Knicks are a complete lost cause. And then you got Boomer's Rangers that we try for him not to talk about as much as possible.
And yet one of the best teams in hockey.
And we'll talk about them in the postseason, I'm sure, plenty. But this, we just got to get to the playoffs and have some interesting storylines with the Nets because outside of that, it has been rough.
You got Rutgers, you got UConn, you got Seton Hall, you got the conference tournament start. I guess some of them started already, but the big power conferences are next week. You got the NCAA tournament, so maybe you get into that a little bit. But you're right, it's tough going right now, especially with no end in sight to what's going on in baseball. At least if you had something going on with the players reporting, and while I know you only get a day or two out of that, until the games start, at least for a couple of days, spring and sun and palm trees, and here we go, a new season. Right now, we're in the dog days of winter.
Well, the thing that we missed out on with the lockout happening and continuing and that deadline passing with no deal was the flurry of offseason activity that was still out there.
Yeah, and the Mets are still going to be very active. I think the Yankees are still going to be active, and there's still players that can be had.
Right. So we would have been talking about that like crazy. Yeah. So you would add that and then followed up by NFL free agency right after that and then into the tournament.
That's the first time in 17 years of doing this that I had the clock in my head wrong.
Did you?
I couldn't believe when I looked. I swear to God, they hit the button that there was 2 seconds to go, and then for him to...
You were all over it, though. You were all over it.
But then for him to deflect the inbounds, which you never usually see.
Right.
And that was Harper that deflected that as well. You didn't have to worry about it. And also, it was interesting, too, because Indiana was out of timeouts. Mike Woodson.
Yeah.
All I can think about when I see Mike Woodson is let's do it. I mean, the whole time, all night, I'm watching
Funky
him.
Cold Medina.
On the sideline, yeah. And so he's out of timeouts. But because Harper's foot was so close to the line, the referee's got to look at it. Now, all of a sudden, Brandon Knight, one of the assistant coaches for Rutgers, going nuts. Like, you're giving him a timeout. Like, let's play the game.
Yeah.
Because it would have been a scramble, but they wound up defending it. Maybe it helped Rutgers in that case. I don't know. But it was some finish. And the people there were just floored.
Yeah. I'm sure.
It was, Rutgers has beaten them now. So it's a couple of things that's interesting sports-wise. So Rutgers, when they came into the Big Ten, as you know, not great, as you can imagine.
Yep.
Well, Indiana had their way with them early on, and there were some people that tweeted some not nice things about them.
Oh, I'm sure.
Early on. So Rutgers has now beaten them 5 straight times, and I think it's 7 of 8. Like, that's Indiana.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden you got some guys quote tweeting from 5 years ago some of the nasty things that were said about getting them out of the conference. But yeah, these people, and it was senior night too.
Oh, well, tough bleep for them.
Well, for sure, but it's weird because we're doing a post-game show and the arena is dead. Now there's 18,000 people there, although some left. The arena is dead quiet and we're trying to do interviews with a group that's excited, and me and Austin are almost whispering.
Yeah.
Because it's so quiet. Everybody's looking at us like, shut up, there's a ceremony going on.
Where the hell did they put you in that arena, by the way?
We are, so at Indiana, you're like 3 rows up into the stands, right above the scorer's table.
Where was it that you tweeted out where it was like you were that wasn't your broadcast location.
No.
Okay.
I always like to go all the way up to the top and just take it in.
Yeah.
And so I went to the top of the assembly hall stands, the final row. Holy crap. You need oxygen. It's so hot.
I was going to say, is that where they put
my
you
God.
to call the game?
No, not at all.
That would have been insane.
No, Wisconsin, they put us in a suite in the upper deck. But that was, man, is that place big.
Are you confident to say it's a lock now, the Rutgers
Got to win Sunday.
It's a must-win Sunday?
I think it is. Yeah, you can't lose to Penn State at home because they just got blasted by Nebraska.
Yeah, not a good year for them, right?
No, and you lost to Penn State on the road. So beat them Sunday, and I would say it's a lock. That would be 12 conference wins. And hell, right now they're in 5th place in the conference.
Now Sunday home game?
Yeah.
This is where we need to get the Jerry head. This is what we were talking about. Where the hell is the thing? Where is it? Where is Harris? Where is it?
I'm sure he has it. He texted me late in the day.
Oh, you do have his number?
Yeah.
All right. We got to get that thing.
Well, whatever. That's up to you.
He's got to give it to a current student. Come on.
Yeah, and get it in the section. I mean, it's the last home game.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
This is it.
Yeah, I got you.
You just don't want to. It's just you
I'm
running
not
around
walking
like
in
crazy.
with it. Are you out of your mind?
I know. We got to get it to a current student.
Want me to do the game with it, and I can stand up and. I'm not doing that. I am not walking in with my own head.
No, it would be perfect because then we do a Monday show after that, and everybody will see the Jerry head,
which is fine. But I'm not bringing that thing into the building.
Harris has got to know a current student who's going to the game.
You would think
he just graduated.
I'm sure he does.
All right, just do me a favor. Text him and say, get it to a current student who's going to the game.
I will do so. Okay.
Because I'm not going to bring that in myself.
Custody of it. I mean, it's over.
Right. Yeah, enough. What are you hanging on
working,
to it for?
Whatever, which is good, so...
Move on.
That's like DA carrying around his own cardboard cutout like we see all the time.
I notice every day.
Yeah, it's just very, very
pathetic.
Very sad.
Yeah, very, very sad.